I cannot believe this is happening right now.
Time to head out.
We're heading out of Alaska.
Dad ruined it.
Oh yeah, I put some leafy greens on there. They stink. I was whittling. All right, sometimes you just need to have a fire and a hot dog.
Hit all of the potholes.
Yeah, definitely chutes and ladders.
The bear viewing window.
Nickerson, party of 4. That's perfect.
It is time for the mill tour. We're with Olga.
Is this anyone's first visit to Wrangell St. Elias National Park? Awesome, welcome. Wrangell St. Elias National Park is the largest national park in the U.S. About 13 million acres. We have 4 mountain ranges running through the park. We have the Wrangell Range, the St. Elias Range to the south. We have the Chugach Mountains that are right behind the schoolhouse here. And we have the eastern tip of the Alaska Range. Here within the Kennecott Valley, we have 2 major features that plenty of people hike to, either the Root Glacier or what's right behind us is the Kennecott Glacier. A century ago, when they were in the midst of the mining operation here, the landscape looked quite different, as the glacial moraine was a lot higher. And it's 200 to 300 feet towering above the town. Amazing. It said that the kids that went to school here in the schoolhouse would not see the mountains behind them. So our landscape has changed quite a bit, even within our recent history. Post office and the general store in town. Like I had been mentioning, Kennecott operated as a company town. So often their employees, instead of having a lot of like US currency circulating, were just paid in company dollars or scrip. And they could buy extra luxuries from the company store using that scrip. But it was kind of like a system that would put them into debt, where there wasn't any competition in the town. There's only one store, and so they were gauging the prices, they're a lot higher.
So that's Mount Blackburn. And I just heard the tour guide say they haven't seen that in a long time, so it's kind of neat.
He said he hasn't seen either of those 2 peaks in a very long time.
I'm excited to hear the differences between gold and copper mining.
I know.
Here we're standing in front of the general manager's office, Stephen Birch's office in here, as well as a lot of the engineers planning the exact veins that they will be mining.
If you missed last episode that we posted last night, this is part 2 of our time at McCarthy and the Kennecott Mill.
Like I mentioned yesterday, I had some issues with some videos. 3 videos just kind of like disappeared into the cloud. Pretty important videos that really explained a lot of the cool backstory of the Kennecott Mines and the Kennecott Mill, which is where we are right now. All right, so I'm gonna give you a quick overview of the Kennecott Mill and the mines. So this is the mill. The mines are actually way up in the hills behind us, but I'm gonna get to that in a second. How this place was first discovered was there were a couple prospectors out, probably prospecting for gold, but they looked up on the mountainside across the glacier and they saw this entire mountainside of green, and they're like, that is odd that there's so much grass up there. There was so much copper they thought it was grass. The copper was exposed, and that was why it was green. So those dudes made a bunch of money. They didn't have the ability to mine it, so they sold their claim, mainly because it would take absolutely an astonishing amount of money and effort to get it out of those hills. It was hard for us to get to McCarthy. Can you imagine getting all that equipment there? So even before a train was built, they built that entire mill with stuff hauled by dogs. This was one of the richest finds. That's why they put the effort into it. They were literally, instead of having to mill all this stuff down, they were carrying out chunks of copper, not even needing to refine it. It was going straight on the train. All right, so back to the mill. It was essentially a sorting facility, and this has got nothing to do with the mining. This is just, I think, the coolest part about this story.
Yeah.
It was so profitable for so many years that it abruptly ended because they didn't want the workers to know that it was going to end because they'd probably stop working. So they gave them literally hours. They had an hour's notice to get all their crap and get on the last train that was leaving there. No other train ever came back there. Crazy.
Nuts. There were full families there that were like, grab your kids and grab whatever you can carry and get on the train.
So it sat abandoned for a while because actually they thought they might reopen it again. They decided to hire somebody to go in and destroy the entire facility because it was kind of a liability for the company. So the guy shows up there and he basically only removes the roof of the top section, decides it's too hard, and just steals everything of value, copper wires, copper, everything, because everything was still left there. And he abandons it. But that's good for us because if he wasn't so lazy, we wouldn't be able to see it.
No kidding.
Can you imagine what you're about to see, what you've seen so far, being lost and destroyed? It would be a shame. Back to copper. One of the other coolest things about this thing is you see all this stuff here. This isn't where they actually got this stuff. All of the mines were miles up into the mountains, like 4 miles up. There was 4 or 5 different mines that were connected eventually by like hundreds of miles of tunnels. And they actually put all of the ore that they were getting that came back down to the mill on trams. They had a whole tram system. The ingenuity.
Unbelievable.
In the harshest climate ever is just unbelievable. To start this tour, we actually had to hike up to the top of it, which was all the way in the back. And that's where the tram system ended. That's where we're about to go into. That's the missing footage. That was really kind of important to see what the heck is going on here. But the trams came down in here. This is where the only part of the building that guy was actually able to destroy. Crazy.
It is nuts.
Oh yeah.
I think you'll be fine in a fall, hun.
Yes.
Huh.
Look how massive that is. Here we can go out through the moraine of the Kennecott Glacier. You can also see some of that white glacier ice exposed a little more.
Wow.
The Kennecott Glacier runs about 28 miles, originating at Mount Blackburn, that big white glacier mountain there.
From dust we came in, dust we shall return. Wash me in the water and I'll never go back, even when I'm walking through dead man paths.
Fuels that it powers
Yeah, definitely chutes and ladders.
Here's a game about climbing up and sliding down. It's called Chutes and Ladders.
To kind of turn and look at the wall here, you can see there are large steel cables that wrap the perimeter of the building, and even a turnbuckle there. So occasionally it would be a worker's job to manually tighten this building back together as it was shaking. And they would use this huge wrench. It would take multiple people to lift up and turn.
Wow.
You feel that as we walk through. You could also imagine not only the force of that, but the noise. They say they could hear the building operating from the town of McCarthy. 4 miles down the road, you could hear the equipment.
And was it off 24 hours?
Yeah, 24 hours a day. We have one of our kind of first pieces of sorting equipment. So this machine would have been called the Hancock jig. And you could see in it, there's many kind of U-shaped wire or mesh baskets. During the operation, this machine or the vat would have been full of water, and the whole mechanism would rotate in the shape of a kind of square a couple times a second. And so that movement would help separate the copper from the tailings. As the copper was denser and heavier, it would sink down to the bottom of these baskets, but the tailings or the limestone would be lighter. And so through that rotation, it would kind of hop from basket to basket in the water here. The material was funneled in. That densest, heaviest material would sink down towards the front, and then that lighter material that hopped down would make its way largely towards the end. And so as it's sorted out, it would be sent down in these separated chutes where high-grade ore would go in one, middlings or stuff that needed to be further processed and sorted would be sent to the center tube, and then just tailings or discard would be sent down.
Wash me in the water and I'll never go back, even when I'm walking through dead man paths. Wash me in the water and I'll never go back, even when I'm walking through dead man paths.
On the right side, you can see it's painted red. That used to be an exterior wall, but as they, slap on floors on the side and upward, had to shift equipment around, this became an interior wall. So we saw some of these machines on the floor above us, just 2 of them. They're all throughout this floor, and they're also on the next 2 or 3 floors below us. These are shaker tables, so they're another piece of sorting equipment for the copper. Here, once again, this table would be pulled back or moved, and so that heavy, dense copper would stay in place, as opposed to the lighter tailing. As it shifted, it would move its way down the table. So as we walked through the mill building, we saw a lot of that physical processing, so the physical crushing, breaking down, and then the shaking and separation of the copper. Here in this building, this is more of the chemical processing of the copper, so that second phase. To extract an even higher yield, they would go through a couple different processes. This particular building is the ammonia leaching plant, and so in these large tanks, you can see they not only span the entire floor, but the floorboard is cut around as it drops multiple stories down. These large tanks would hold ammonia. In that kind of chemical reaction, it would break down the limestone and leave only the copper as the byproduct. And so they were able to pull out an even higher yield of that. They could process even the tailing, so that trace amounts they were able to pull out. There was even a phase further where they'd do another chemical process called flotation. So in flotation, they'd have large vats of oil that they'd aerate or kind of bubble up. And as those bubbles burst, copper, through surface tension, would hold on to the outside of the bubble and create kind of a foam or concentrate up top that they could skim off and pull out even more copper. So it's, they were getting down in the nitty gritty, but to operate in such a remote area where it was such a process to haul out, they were trying to extract as much as they could. They pulled about 600,000 tons of copper through their 4-decade run in this area. They did, in the end, though, shut down in 1938. Management had been talking about shutting down for years, as they knew that the copper was non-renewable at a certain point, but they made that decision as the price of copper had really diminished. But the kind of lowest level workers, or those least paid, had only a moment's notice that they were leaving. Some people say only a couple hours, that they would no longer operate here in Kennecott, and that there was one last train load out of town. So workers were known to kind of have to scramble getting their belongings together and have to pivot the direction that they were going. Within those abandoned bunkhouses by the mines, there are stories that there are beds still unmade and teacups left on the table as they were really rushing to get out of here. The Kennecott Copper Corporation came out with a profit about $100 million at the time, so closer to $2 billion today.
Jeez.
Where they were, highly successful. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having us. That was awesome.
Thank you.
So great.
These things are massive.
Yeah. That was a ton of fun. From my understanding, it just seems like it's a slightly more refined version of how they extract gold.
Yeah.
What a crazy operation. They made like $2 billion in today's money back then.
That's insane.
That is a lot of money, very profitable, really harsh weather conditions. I don't really know how to edit these kind of tours because there's so much talking. I will do my best. Really interesting. Hopefully just seeing it looks cool. And we're back. And look at this view of Blackburn. Holy cow, we did not see that before. And like we said before, they haven't seen it in a long time either. Maybe even more elusive than Denali.
We're gonna be able to see it from the lineage. This is gonna be awesome. So, I was looking at our stats. We hiked 7.5 miles today, over 1,000 feet of elevation between the two hikes. So
Pretty good day.
it's been a good day.
All right, sometimes you just need to have a fire and a hot dog. We got it ready to go. Lily's got us a fire going.
Dad ruined it.
Oh yeah, I put some leafy greens on there. They stink. I was whittling.
Okay, they're pretty sick.
Yeah, they're pretty good. What an incredible location. We had a wonderful day at the mine, on the glacier. Just wonderful, she says.
I'm having a wonderful time.
It's been great.
Happy.
What a good day. Seeing Mount Blackburn all lit up today. Unbelievable. So awesome. They confirmed it by saying, we haven't seen that in weeks. And here it is for us. We didn't see Denali in all of its glory, but we did see Mount Blackburn. Wrangell St. Elias has won us over. In the beginning of this video, I was skeptical because of the road. You need to get here. I don't know if it's just the fact that you feel remote, but this is an amazing way to wrap up our Alaska adventure. We are kind of making our way, after we leave here, we're kind of making our way out of Alaska. I don't know how it's gone by so fast.
What a gift.
Stories come back down, but I'll be safe in your arms, like the light in the day never part. Looking down the line, with you by my side, I'll be fine. Yeah, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. Yeah, I'll be fine. Yeah, I'll be fine. Yeah, I'll be fine. Yeah, I'll be fine. Oh, I'll be fine.
All right, this one lane, narrow, whatever you call this, man-made canyon marks the end of our McCarthy rugged road trip.
And it was rugged.
So Google says it takes 2 hours. That just took us 3.5.
3.5 hours.
3.5 hours because, well, I'm not interested in breaking anything. So, like I said, do it at your own risk. But I would not take a trailer down there.
No.
This thing's a little different. I view this kind of drives like a truck. So
But you're gonna want to go really slow.
you're still going to want to go really slow.
Yeah.
That's about how I might go a little faster if it was like just our truck.
Yeah.
But
Not too much.
there's camping right there. Cooper, we're in Chitina. What is it? Chitina?
Chitna.
Chitna?
I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Chitna, according to what
Oh, look at it right
everyone's
there.
saying.
Hotel Chitna. I know there's at least one campground. I never researched it because
We were planning on
going all
in.
the way.
Yeah. There's definitely places to stop. Find a place to camp. Keep your rig safe. Don't shake it to death.
Yeah, I think it'd be a cool little day trip if you could get a hotel reservation there.
Yeah.
I don't know how tough it is, but right there at the Kennecott Mine, there's like these cool little, almost like they're hotels, but
The lodges. I think
yeah.
it's called a lodge, but they're really, really cute, and they're kind of painted and decorated to look like the entire mining town. So it's a really cool feel and vibe, and the view is spectacular.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun, but I'm happy to be on like a normal road right now.
It was a long way, but what a cool experience checking off a new national park and being as remote as we have ever been on our journeys to date. So that was a
Maybe-
really cool thing to feel anyways.
Maybe we've been more remote, but I think that road just makes you feel remote. That's a dead end road. Like
Yep.
you're going there on purpose. We are making our way to Tok. We're gonna get cleaned up, refresh tanks,
Yep,
and then
it's time to head out.
we're heading out of Alaska.
Holy cow. Wow. The wind just whipping. Wow. That's crazy.
Feel that?
Yikes.
Feel that? This is the best gas station in Tok. The Tessero at the end of town has it all. Last night we crashed here. We filled water, we took showers, we dumped, we're filling up fuel, and then most importantly, it has a free car wash. Look how good this looks. I bet in an hour it does not look good, but I just had to wash it. We haven't washed it in a few weeks, and coming out of Wrangell St. Elias, it got really, really nasty. So hopefully the plan is that it just ends up less dirty than it was when I started washing it here. We are making our way out of Alaska into Canada and back into Alaska to catch a ferry from Haines to Skagway. But first we're heading up to Destruction Bay. There's a really cool boondocking spot there that we're gonna stay at. I know, I have issues washing this thing right now, knowing we're about to hit basically the worst roads. Looks good for now. Tessero at the end of Tok, free everything except for fuel. Get some fuel here.
Like a mean trick where you get on a really nice road and you're like, wow, this isn't bad at all, and then all of a sudden it's like bam, you're into dirt and into holes and into waves on the road. So you just have to be constantly on your guard when you're driving.
So other than this entrance into Canada, Destruction Bay, kind of 100 miles, the roads aren't awful, but they're not great. You have to pay attention. A lot of dirt, so we're coming into that. We've gone through some of it. Other than this drive and our drive into McCarthy or the Dempster or Chicken, those are going to be some rough roads, but the main roads in Alaska are perfectly fine. There's one stretch between Tok and Glen Allen you might want to slow down for, but it's just kind of a wavy road.
Right.
All of the roads, really, down the Kenai, from Fairbanks down to Anchorage, everywhere. The roads are not bad. I prefer these roads over driving through any city down in the U.S. Heading to Destruction Bay, there's a cool little boondocking spot. About another hour.
Look at all the potholes. That is crazy. Oh my.
This is an FOS first.
Oh my gosh,
We've
you
been
guys.
traveling for 6.5 years, never seen grizzlies or brown bears or whatever you want to call them.
Not up close. Look, there's two of them. Oh my gosh, babe. Look how beautiful.
I need to get off the road.
Yeah. Here, open the window, girls. Daddy, Layla's got your camera. Thanks, baby.
Should I back up?
There's another one down there. There's two. Can you see the other one? Oh, so cool. Oh my word, babe.
Where's the other one?
He's down below in those bushes. Can you see him, girls? Oh, see, he's darker.
For a black bear, I might get out. Not for
No, we're not getting out with a grizzly out here. The bear viewing window. I cannot believe this is happening right now. Sometimes you feel like as you're like leaving or exiting a place that you've done everything and that it's over. Once again, Canada, fulfilling dreams.
Okay, so this is Kluon Lake, Destruction Bay, and this is why we wanted to come here. The views are just incredible here, the mountains. They're getting fresh snow now, which means it's definitely time to leave. There's supposed to be a lot of sheep here, but we haven't seen any here yet. We're hoping to see some on our way out. So we're making our way to Haines.